going? Welcome to another video upload from Aspie with Attitude. And if you're watching this for the first time, my name is David. I'm from Melbourne, Australia. I have autism and I have some speech difficulty, a speech impairment and a speech impairment, and I have Asperger's syndrome, and that's why I call myself an Aspie. And that's what I always do to welcome you to another video upload from Aspie with Attitude, which happens to be episode 237 that you're watching right now. If it happens to be the first time that you're watching any of my video uploads from my channel Aspie with Attitude, what I do in this channel is I talk about autism, autistic life hacks, and even sometimes any politics or any issues that's affecting the worldwide autism community and the neurodiversity community. And that's why I also make a stand for autism acceptance, autistic rights, the neurodiversity community, and I light up red for autism acceptance. And also I explain my autism quirks, and I share a lot of my passion, special interests and obsessions. For one example, the Lego. Well, it's time to get the video started then. Just to give you a recap on what's going on here. This was on the 24th of July 2021 for episode 188, when I had explained my theory how autism have existed in early humans back in the prehistoric times, the Ice Age, and throughout the Stone Age. This was just my own speculation, whether you approve or dismiss my theory about autism amongst early humans, especially for the Neanderthal people. You will need to watch and listen to episode 188, since I'll be leaving the Stone Age all behind us. It'll be concentrating more into civilization age, which I'm talking about the Bronze Age and the classical antiquity times. This second part for autism evolution theory begins in the Bronze Age, the time when written text was first created, especially in Sumer, when today's Iraq was once upon a time a centre of all civilizations, roughly in 4000 BC, up until 500 AD, when the classical antiquity times did end after the collapse of the Roman Empire back in 478 AD. For almost 5,000 years of written text, not only that the ancient inhabitants knew nothing about any existence of the two planets, one called Uranus and the other one called Neptune. Also, they knew nothing about autism. In the era of ancient civilizations, like we're talking about the ancient Sumerians, the Babylonians, the Egyptians, the Hittites, the Etruscans, the ancient Greeks and the ancient Romans, not only that the planet Uranus and Neptune was there, autism was also there back in those days too. It's in the 21st century we are lucky to translate the lost languages from those given ancient civilizations, and there had been no written records ever been discovered to describe what it's like to be on the autism spectrum back in those ancient civilizations. In the ancient times, it's likely that there were emperors, kings, queens, generals, pharaohs, conquerors and warriors who are on the autism spectrum, except we'll never know who were the autistic figures were in the ancient times. And so, like, who are these people? This makes it impossible for anyone to give the right answer of which pharaoh, emperor, general, warrior, conqueror was on the autism spectrum. This is why I haven't mentioned any names so far in this video upload. Even innovators like whoever invented the wheel could be yet neurotypical, since some may argue that the person who invented the wheel was autistic. We just have no proof, we have no hard evidence to support whether the inventor of the wheel was autistic or neurotypical. So I'm going to keep it as that then. Around 300 BC in Alexandria, a great library was built within the Nile Delta of Egypt. Since most of the important documents had been destroyed from this library in Alexandria over the many centuries, there could have been autism diagnosis made back then, so we just never know. If it was, all this would be lost in time and the hard written evidence would have been destroyed, since that the library was completely destroyed by 500 AD. Since explaining autism back in ancient civilization is just getting nowhere, I like to explain one ancient Greek mathematician called Pythagoras. Since it's clear that the 20th century scientist Albert Einstein was autistic, it happens that Einstein and Pythagoras each have something in common. Einstein and Pythagoras had each came up with a basic formulas that revolutionized mathematical thinking. I will explain Pythagoras' mathematical thinking, which happens to be the Pythagoras' theorem. It's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. This formula had appeared to change the dynamics of geometry in ancient Greece back in 530 BC, which is around at that time, and this is what had made Pythagoras famous. We have no proof and we have no evidence that Pythagoras was on the autism spectrum. It's rather impossible for anyone to prove this theory about Pythagoras being on the autism spectrum. As it happens, part 2 of autism evolution theory may seem pointless. But please don't doubt, I actually had fun questioning if autism diagnoses were made in ancient civilization that we know of. We're talking about ancient Egypt, the Hittites, ancient Babylonia, ancient Greece, ancient Rome, or maybe Sumer, anywhere in this time. And maybe someone out there may have an idea which emperor, king, general, warrior or conqueror would have been autistic anywhere from the years 4000 BC to 500 AD. Please let me know in the comments down below if you think you know who might have been autistic. Maybe you'll have an idea that Julius Caesar or Alexander the Great could have been autistic, since I'm not making any comments there myself. So if you like what I'm doing on this channel, please don't forget to subscribe to Aspie with Attitude. That's all I ever ask for in terms of support. And also, if you wish to keep up to date with any of my video uploads, please don't forget to ring this notification bell. That way you'll never miss any of my episodes. But one final thing I ask you for in terms of support is, please like and share this video content around. That way we might actually find out who were the ancient historical figures on the autism spectrum. And maybe we'll find out if Julius Caesar was autistic, so who knows. And don't forget to check out episode 188, which is actually part 1. So the whole time you're watching part 2 to autism evolution theory. And I think this is it. So I don't have anything more to say about the ancient civilization, where autism did exist back then, which it did, but there was no autism diagnosis that I know of. So here we go. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to Aspie with Attitude. Peace and respect. See you next time.